Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody.
What's up?
Welcome to the monumental 150th Recovery Freedom Rising
Is it?
podcast.
Oh,
Yes, I'm Milan Starcic with co-host Andrew Normand.
I
And you
didn't know
guys,
that.
we're a century and a half old in
fucking
8
hyped
months.
Hyped
Today's topic is how free do you want to be? Can you share what this means to you today, Andrew?
Oh
And why
my
you're happy to
gosh.
discuss this topic here?
Life is beautiful. Life is beautiful, Milan. I love you. I love life. I'm a grateful addict today, man. Man, $150?
I know, I was keeping it all secret. I was like, well, this will cheer him
Bro,
up.
you just hit me with. You just made my like month. Thank you, and thank you if you're listening in. If you've kind of gotten a hold of these things and they get some time in your day at any time, if they just hit you once and you've gotten some out of one of these podcasts, man, man and lady, thank you for being here. We love you. We love you. We need you. So, how free do you want to be? For me, this phrase rooted from my sponsor, kicking me in the balls when I would call him. And he would A, ask me if I prayed about it, and B, ask me how free do I want to be. And these are in the stickiest situations. And I could never answer that question. And it made me do some thinking about it. And I'm glad we decided on this. This was one of those ones I had in the back of my mind for like a rainy day. And this was kind of like that rainy day, like, what's the topic? And we're rolling with it. And I'm so
I
excited.
feel like we're cheating on Brandy.
No, look, she's watching. She has a sick child and she got back with me finally, but she said she couldn't because she was sick. But she's in here with spirit. I think we are. I feel like we are too. I feel like I have to like whisper. I feel like I have to whisper so she doesn't. Brandy doesn't hear us.
She's gonna be jealous all the freedom.
As long as we don't talk so loud, like she won't hear us when she's floating around that pink cloud, just floating around. She won't be able to hear the frequency and the harmony. All right, cool. So look, how free do you want to be? What it does for me, and I'll just kind of break it down. It emphasizes that freedom is at the core aspect of recovery. You know, we want to be free. You know, free from active addiction, free from being a slave to these drugs and whatever that was that we were a slave to. It prompts. But it is a personal choice too, right? And so it's our personal choice to be free and to remain having choices. It prompts reflection on the extent to which individuals desire and reclaim their lives after a lifelong, stint with something that really had us by our guts, man. When I came in here, I was dead. I was essentially a dead body moving. And what it does is recovery allows me to reclaim my life back. And freedom is a journey, right? It's not just a destination. Like when we come here, we get free from the drugs, but the drugs aren't the problem. I've realized that, man. This is not a drug improvement or a get off drugs program. You know, this is a program of surrender, not self-improvement. You see what I'm saying?
See you Wednesday, Tom.
Bro, this is foreshadowing. The question encourages a deeper understanding of what this process means to us as individuals, because this is our own process. Yes, there's a laid out way to do things here, but it's how we intake all those and how we apply them to our lives individually, that's going to make this thing work. You know, Milan has his own recovery process. I have my own recovery process. We meet in the middle, and then we help each other out whenever we need. But it's beyond just the simple physical freedom, right? We get free from drugs, so our bodies stop using drugs. But there's a lot more that goes into our defects and all these problems. You know, fear, shame, guilt, our destructive behavior. You know, our self-destructive behavior. I'll keep it on me. I was burning it down, man. You know, I was burning it down from the moment I woke up most of the time. And then look, freedom as a word, like how do you define your personalized definition of freedom? Like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, what is that? And then this comes down to, and I'll reference my boy JJ, the power of choices. Freedom arrives at my doorstep in the form of choices, Milan. I'll say that from time to time in the meetings. And I have a choice today, man. I have a choice. As simple as that. I did not have choices when I was in active addiction. And there's a power. Having a choice is so powerful. When you're stripped of those choices, it says in our literature that we were some of us were living at it below an animalistic level, right? Like eating at a dog, like eating out of trash cans and stuff like that. And that's a good day for some people sometimes. So we're going to wrap it around with all these questions, man. I'm excited to see you, man. We missed it on Friday, and I love you and I miss you. And I'm so glad we're tapping in today, man, because I needed it big time.
Woo! I'm so grateful to be here with you. For some reason, man, sharing this 150 episode together. First of all, I want to say a couple things to everybody out there. We passed 5,000 downloads just over a week ago. And that's all
Thank you.
because of you, everybody who's tuning in and sharing with us.
So
That
beautiful.
means so much to me to have gotten that out there to everybody. And I hear some of the stories of how it's helped people. There's some people listening, I get told, who aren't even in recovery, but just enjoy the vibe and the topics that we're talking about. So thank you, everybody who's out there.
Yeah.
Anybody who can click follow, it does mean a difference on our stats. It means we're kind of going to, get more action to other people. And then, to get to 150 episodes, that's 150 amazing conversations on recovery.
Right.
And like that to me is,
We'll be able to show our grandchildren these if one day.
I might not be doing 90 meetings in 90 days, but I'm sure at the crash course of like the school of recovery.
I say 90 podcasts in 90 days, you ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, that's right. That's just wild. And
makes me emotional, actually.
it does me too. Like when I saw that today, when I came up and was like, rigging up my questions and everything, and I looked down and I was like, whoa. And it is simply a number. But how do you mark the passage of time without numbers? Like, and this is like a passage of, like we started with no experience, any of us, and just to get to where we are now, how I feel myself, comfortable talking, how I've seen you grow in the way that you convey your information, how it's brought, people like Chelsea the other day from scared to into confidence in 144 minutes,
Unbelievable.
like this show is a healing tool for the hosts as much as anybody, and if anything, we're just showing we're real, we're vulnerable, and we're willing to share it because it can save lives.
You can do it too. You can do it too.
Yeah, like I didn't have an amazing example of happy sobriety. Like there was no group and we have shown heart, we have shown joy, we have shown depth, we've shown tears, and we've had every emotion on this show. There's even almost been some arguments.
Hey, absolutely.
But I mean, it's because we're human. We've shown our entire humanity of ourselves, and that's why this topic is perfect for today. How free do you want to be? I was trapped hiding out from people as often as I could at the end of my addiction, and I did not see a way to be free from that alone. And the title of this show, Recovery, Freedom, Rising. Why is it called that? Because of recovery. Freedom is rising inside us, and we are like the phoenix rising from the ashes. And every single day I stay in this program, I learn more and more about ways that I didn't even see that I wasn't free. And like the possibilities of freedom are so infinite now. Like in so many ways, I'm free to grow, to learn, to become, to enhance, to share, to be of service, to help, to be a light for someone else.
Up, up, up.
There is so many ways, and it all starts with surrender. That freedom, that freedom all starts with surrendering my active usage. And without
Mm.
that surrender, none of the other channels and doors would have been open for me to flow into. And like, you know, when Mr. Tommy S. See you Wednesday said this isn't a program of self-improvement. This is a
Miss you, bro.
program of surrender.
Facts.
Like that
Life
is
changer.
like right there to anybody who just hasn't given up the fight and taken a white. You know, like just try letting that fight go and not having it as yours. Like do a mental exercise of, like that rope you're holding with that addiction of just flexing as hard as you can and then let it go. And
And
that's
imagine
what
being able to do that every day. Every day being able to literally just let those things go, like in a nutshell, right?
and over in life circumstances. Like that 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 surrender is like of your self-resentment, of your fear, of your guilt, your shame, of all your old ideas. And why? Because those old ideas weren't serving you in action.
Yeah.
In application, they were killing us.
Yeah. Freedom is not free.
So it's okay to let it go. And I think, when you say, how free do you want to be? Well, there's the ideal and there's the dream. But then there's also what your mind can be open to and what you're willing to execute. And those two
Open-minded.
things will really determine your freedom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. I'm 100%. It will determine the level of freedom that you be able to give to yourself through this process. The more you let go, the more free you're going to be. You know what I mean? The more you surrender, the more free you're going to
And
be able
if
to
you
hold on.
don't open your mind to those changes, you'll never know where you're working towards. Like, in some ways, freedom's not a destination, it is a direction. And your surrender is your compass pointing you in the right direction of freedom.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. And until then, when you pray, they're just going to bounce back and hit you in the face, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
surrender.
Woo,
You
man.
ready for my question, man? Look, I'm
I'm
so
so ready.
excited,
I'm
bro.
ready.
I
I
feel
feel
like we
like
just did. I feel like it's a whole nother day. Like we
that was the
started a brand
best
new day.
intro of all time.
Oh my
Like both of
God.
us sizzling,
Can't
loving.
wait to see Tom Smith on within a week, man. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
It's like 3 days to Tommy. It's 2.5, really.
Milan, I need to know. We
Yep.
need to know. And
Yep.
I see we're on YouTube too. You got us on YouTube. I didn't
Yeah.
know we were on YouTube.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Hell, we everywhere.
Well,
Okay, so
ain't nowhere we.
what Milan does spiritual freedom mean to you today? Spiritual freedom.
Whoa. Okay. Spiritual freedom comes from me from taking that discontentment, that restlessness, that expectation, that anxiety, and getting to wash that down to a dull roar by acting out in principles. Like that saying, do the next right thing. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? When you do, you're not worried about what you're going to do. You're not worried about what you've done. You're not worried about an aftermath of destruction, of shame, guilt, remorse. And in fact,
Hmm.
it might probably going to have something to do with a little bit of self-esteem or like self-love because of doing that right thing.
Yeah, man.
So living inside these principles, like I was talking about the other time last time we were together with that two-way prayer: honesty, pure, unselfish, loving, right? Like, man, you hold up what you're doing in life against those four things.
Yeah. You're straight.
Where where are you trapped? Where are you
Proceed, young
trapped?
man.
Where are you?
Proceed.
Like, how does that not deliver you to freedom of spirit?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, it does. I
Yeah.
mean, it's to even think about those four terms together and to be moving in those directions. I mean, there's nothing that can really stop you. Like proceed,
Mhm.
all guns ahead on that one.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you if I did.
No, you didn't. I feel like I answered the perfect amount right there.
I think you did too. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, no, no.
So what
I'll
does
be like this
spiritual
if I feel like it.
or you're gonna drop the mic. Spiritual freedom to me today, guys, is that really deep, quiet peace of knowing like I'm no longer a prisoner of my past. I'm not responsible for the stuff I did in my disease. That's what I read in my literature. That's why it's so important to read this literature, because it tells you a lot about yourself coming into this place or into these rooms. It gives you a good starting off point. You're not responsible for that stuff. You know what I mean? It's a very, very big point that you need to understand. And so for so long, I let my addiction define who I was. I wasn't able to make a life for myself. As I thought I was moving continuously upwards with jobs and getting older and girlfriends and things like that. Like I thought I was living life and doing it, man, because I just felt good because I was, usually high up, right? And what I was doing is I was letting my trauma and all my mistakes and all my past shit that I had um, define me, and my opinion of other people, like all that shit was defining who I was as a person. All that negative shit was defining who I was as a person. So it only has one way to come out. That's negative. On top of that, I'm on drugs, so I'm an asshole. You know what I mean? But when you come in here and you read that simple thing, I'm not responsible for my disease and I don't have a moral deficiency, so I'm really not an asshole. Right? So it tells me these things. I'm really not a dick. So, when you can start cleaning out, living by these spiritual principles, things change for you. People around you see the changes in you. The people that really, really love you will see that you are back. Not that you're changing. That person is back. Maybe for the first time ever, they're going to see that person, and through this program and what's happened is my disease threw me in jail, brought me to these rooms brought me to a connection with my higher power, who I choose to call God. God, get off drugs, group of drug addicts, the great outdoors, gift of desperation, whatever you want to call it. It works. And that relationship is my relationship, right? And now I have this spiritual freedom in my life. I have this freedom from these chains that used to hold me so hostage that I could barely even get out of bed in the morning. You know, and it's not about being like perfect or like there's no perfection. This thing is never gonna end. I'm never gonna like reach the finish line. Um, this is an ongoing process, and I'm gonna die with this disease. I don't want to die because of it. I've said that a lot on here too. But today I trust this process. I trust God. Um, I know I'm on the path I'm supposed to be on, because when I talk and I reach for answers, I get answers. And I continuously throughout the day do the right thing. Like I said, especially when everybody's looking, or especially when nobody's looking. But obviously, when people are looking, but it doesn't matter. I'm not doing it because anybody's looking. I love to pull chairs up for people who are standing in our office because they need a place to sit, and it's nicer for people to sit down. I see how people react. Everybody looks around and reacts, and then I wait for other people to do it, and they still don't do it. And I don't know what it is, man. It's not about being the guy who pulls the chairs up for people. I feel better when I do it, because I know I'd rather want to sit down than stand, right? Like there's little things that it's an attaboy from God when I do those things, man. I'm walking a little lighter for the next hour. It's little things that I can lean into that I used to not give a shit about when I was on drugs, because if I wasn't at the height of that point of being high, then like fucking I was, you know, everything else was lacking. I was not bringing my full self to the situation. So I now can fully be aware of every situation, know why I'm in the situation, know what brought me here, know if I need to leave it, that I can leave, and know is a full sentence. It's a full statement. It's a full answer. So forgiving, I can forgive today. Spiritual freedom is about forgiving. It's that final form of love that we've talked about before. If I can forgive somebody, I love you. It's also one of the what is it? The biggest forms of revenge too. Forgive your enemies. It'll help you and them out. So I started kind of rambling a little bit. I love you. I think that answered
I
the
love you
question.
too. Okay, now I've got a question for you. The
Cool.
steps don't just keep us clean, they teach us to be free from our own thinking. How have the steps changed your internal dialogue over time?
Well, that's a great question. When you said that, the first thing that popped in my mind is the steps have cleansed me inside and out, right? It's an inside and an outside job. These are all action steps. And so step work and freedom, that's the keys to freedom, right? Working the steps has brought a whole new meaning to that phrase. Step four, I was facing myself. I was able to face myself, right? That's where I faced myself and I realized what I'm up against. That's where I realized how tall I was, right? That's how I realized, like how strong I was in battle with myself, right? Step five um, is where I can share my shame. Um, Step five is where I was able to share that shame, and I no longer had to shoulder that shame all by myself. So as I think about it, I'm going through these steps, right? I'm thinking about step six and seven, step six and seven. That's where I give up those things that I clung on to. That's where I can literally give up those things that I had been holding on with the death grips for 20 plus years. I can finally let go of that grip. And what is it? Step nine. I can set others free and myself free by making amends. You know, it's not only about like it is about us, but you can set those people around you free that you never thought you'd be able to do ever again, and you can change their life in addition to changing your life. You know what I mean? So um, each one of those unlocked a different door to my spiritual cellar, if you will, right? Like so let's say my basement. You have this basement that has all these trap doors. As I was doing these steps, each one of those steps opened up a different door in that cellar that I hadn't been in a long time. I had to go through a lot of spider webs to get to like 9, 10, and 11 and 12, right? Like nobody had been down there for a long, long time, man. So really good question because as I just was picturing myself going through these steps and going down into that basement and quickly unlocking each one of those doors and going, what the hell's behind this thing? But then once you finally get it all cleaned out, you're like, damn, I got more room to live. I got more room to hang out. I can make this basement a controlled environment, put a pool table down here. So it's cool, man. I don't know if that made any sense. It
I
kind of
loved
made
it.
sense to me.
Oh, it's great. It was great. The steps don't just keep us clean, they teach us to be free from our own thinking. How have the steps changed my internal dialogue over time?
Before you answer that more real quick, I wanted to say this because it popped on my head. Step 12 is where I realized that to keep all those things, I had to give it away, and it's all about service, right? Like that's where I finally realized what this whole thing was about, and it's not about me anymore. And I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I wanted to say that before you started.
No, I was like, I wondered why you left it out. So,
Freedom grows when we give it away. Done,
yep.
done.
Hmm.
Love you.
I love you too. So, how have the steps changed my internal dialogue over time? Well, I think I mentioned early on that first surrender of step one. That changed, like, that brought down the volume of the more dialogue. And that more dialogue was literally starting to drive me insane. And it was like my first speck of silence. So, that very first step began my journey to serenity through surrender. And, the second step was me really starting to reconnect to the universe because I had disconnected myself through my active usage and just through my years of not fostering a relationship. Step three kind of helped me discover where I was surrendering things to. You know, Step four was my journey into what parts of me were the problem for me, and so what that changed in my internal dialogue was it's his fault, it's her fault, it's his fault, it's her fault, to it's my fault. You know,
Common denominator.
like step four completely 180'd my whole blame game on the universe. You know, step five.
No sorry line. No sorry
Step
line.
five showed me that I wasn't like this intolerable freak to be shot into outer space and forgotten about, you know? Um, and then step 6 and 7 were really about taking the step to be willing to, for those parts of me to be over, you know? And so that will be an ongoing journey for the rest of my life, you know? Which is why it's really important to maintain a strong third step. Because if I don't have a strong third step, I'm not actively surrendering what I need to for my other steps, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, the best I heard it described was like if I haven't made an amends and Andrew calls, I see lying thief, you know, stole $5. Lying thief stole $5.
Yeah.
So that internal dialogue of like the shame and the guilt of who I was cannot be cleared without steps 8 and 9. Like,
Yeah.
and then what does that do? That starts to open the door to self-acceptance and love, right? And now that I'm clean inside and out, step 10 keeps me clean inside and out.
Daily inventory.
Like it keeps me from starting that hamster wheel on a daily basis. Every time that hamster wheel starts rolling, all I have to do is course correct, amend, and release and
Maintenance.
surrender that. Yeah. And then steps 11 never were more important to me than this point in my very life right now. I'm
Tell them why, Milan.
2.5 weeks into my two-way prayer, and my like some of the things that are coming to me through that are just magical events. And then I get to step 12, and man, I've said it a million times. Service makes my world go round. You know, like I love the act of service. And
Yeah.
whether it's for friends, whether it's for family, whether it's for pulling out that chair for someone at work, whether it's just to be of service, like period, like seeing a need and filling it, because that is what the universe is offering me right now. And, you know, my work with my sponsees is just so important to my heart, like so absolutely important to my
Highest
heart.
form of service.
But, you know, like, God, there's moments where I'm like, I'm guaranteed getting more than these guys out of this. And like, you know, so I
You almost
have
feel
to,
bad like you're
I have
taking
to, I
something
have
from
to
them.
check my service motivator at that point. You know, like my service motivation. Am I just
Yeah, but
doing
it
this?
always clears. It always clears that because you're like, bro, I'm being of service to this young man. Like you're helping this man, bro. It's crazy.
I know, but man, like I'm just like I'm having too much fun here. Like, you know, like I'm honestly like
You're
you
just
know,
really embracing it,
like
bro.
you know, I have to do a step 10 to myself. Sorry, Milan, you're not allowed to have so much fun.
You can't step 10
Yeah,
Starcic, step 10 Starcic now.
yeah.
We
Just look
can't
in the
have
mirror,
that.
mirror on the wall. I'm the step 10 of them all. Um,
Yeah, man.
and so I think that goes through it all for that question. And
You
I
filled
felt
in
like
the gaps.
that was a good journey for both of us, and I loved
That was
that.
beautiful. I
Yeah,
love that. I love the questions that hit on that. And then, but you hit on it, those maintenance steps. A 10, maintain our relationships with ourselves. 11 is going to maintain our relationships with that God of our understanding. And then 12 is going to bring it back home and maintain our relationship with everybody else. So yeah, man, those are this is why it works long term, are those 3 steps. That's why it's going to work for us when we're 40 years clean, hanging out on the back porch, right?
yeah.
So, ready for my question?
I am so ready.
When you were saying this too, service, listen, hear me out. Think about this. Service equals life to me. Service is life. When I'm of service, I feel more alive than anything.
Service
Is
is our
life.
connection into the entire cycle of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
like you look at like the way that a rainfall nourishes a tree, which then sucks the water up its roots, and the birds live in the tree,
Yeah.
and the flowers come to the like. Like
I
there,
love it.
it's just like being part of instead of thinking that everything is for us.
Yeah. Yeah. We're in our way. It's either helping us or it's going to hurt us. Right. Okay. Ready for my question?
I am.
In what areas of your life, Milan, are you still not free and why?
Woo. Well, I am still like, I still go through the roller coasters of emotions, defects,
Mm-hmm.
and shortcomings. And that to me really is almost the greatest like push pull part of my surrender. It's like some days, man, I could feel so free. And then
Yeah.
5 minutes later something happens so fast and I'm in a completely different frame of mind and I'm like, what happened? You know? So I would say that like my um my high speed reaction freedom is one of the hardest in my life. You know, and that is also when I'm on not rested, or when I'm eating bad food. Like, man, I have noticed in the last couple weeks, like, because it's garden time here, like when I'm eating really good right out of the garden, my emotions and who I am is an entirely different person than if I have like a bunch of sugar or a bunch of shit food. And I'm like, oh, like it just changes my ability to be amiable in the entire world, And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
those are places that really, so like my freedom, like to be free from the addictions to bad foods is somewhere I'm not free. And I could see that. I could see that, I was listening to that Stoicism book, and one of the things it talks about in it, though, is like kind of creating your own hardships to know you can get through it. But part of it's like controlled, like diet control and stuff like that. And it's just something that I've said for the last 6 months. It's like one of the final legs of me really harnessing true health in my life. Like I'm moving enough now to be super fit, but I'm not eating the right way enough to be
Yeah.
like just in great shape. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I would say defects, shortcomings, and diet.
That's dope. I love you, man. That was a beautiful answer. I love you, man. I
I
miss
love
you.
you too.
Have I told you that yet today?
I think so, but I want to hear it again.
I love you and I miss you. That's dope. It's cool. We can layer up on that. All right, man. So I'm going to answer this question.
Guess who
What
loves you?
areas you?
I mean, okay, I might be the only one
How many
here.
guesses do I have? How many guesses do I have? So,
Four.
in what areas of my life am I you, and you, and you? And maybe what is it? Drippy Pants, Iceman. I think Iceman might love me too. Miss him too. How's
Yeah.
he doing? How's he doing? Is he
He's
doing
doing
good?
good, man. He's in counseling school like 5 days
Okay.
a week now.
Miss him,
And
man.
so that's got him tied up. I actually, I was inviting him out. I was like, oh man, he would love this. But
Yeah.
his family's all there for the long weekend. It's a long weekend in Canada right now.
Next time we'll
Yep.
get him. Iceman.
Yeah.
Spud bags. All right. So, in what areas of my life am I still not free? So, look, even with over 3 years clean, there's still a lot of areas that I find myself not completely free. And whether I'm ever going to be free from bondage of these things, probably not. I just continue to try to move forward with them. A couple of these things, you know, and obviously this is an ongoing process. I'm going to have up days, I'm going to have bad days. But my main one that I think of when I think about this question is my expectation of others. I really struggle with my expectation of others, and tying that in with freedom, because it really pulls on my it pulls on my emotions, man. It pulls on my emotions one way or another. Especially those people that are closest to me, like close friends, family, sponsees. And sometimes other members of the fellowship. I catch myself expecting them to do what I might do in that situation, which is absolutely not the way to think about it. Um, Now, when I do that, it's usually by myself, and I don't, and I pray, I think about it, I call my sponsor, whatever it is, I find the proper answer through my process. But That expectation of others is tough. They're not going to show up the way I am, and I'm not going to show up the way they want me to either. And I got to understand that going into this thing. And I have to respond with love. I can't think that they're going to love the way I love. You know what I mean? I cannot, I'm a loving ass dude. So I can't expect them to understand that and then in turn give me that back in return. Now, over time, that's where I win the battle on the love thing. I just continue to throw that love on you and until look, let us love you till you learn how to love yourself. That's me. I'm the definition of that saying. Um, if they had a picture definition thing, it would just be my face. Anyways, yeah. So that I get disappointed a lot, and then I have to understand that I cannot hold people to expectations like that. I have to meet them where they're at and continue to stay tapped in spiritually, because that spirituality piece, man, is very important. Another area, tension in my relationship, my relationships. Freedom from fear. I still get fearful in a lot of areas where I think that I'm not being enough, or I haven't done enough in a situation. Maybe it's at work, or maybe man, I say in service, but I'm just a perfectionist when it comes to like these meetings and stuff. That's another thing. I'll step in because I'm pretty much of service every single night in my home group. I host Saturday nights and maybe one or two other nights in there if something else happens. But even when I'm not, if something's not running like the way I want to, man, I'll get upset quick and I'll just step in and I'll do the mute and unmute button. I'll do all these things. And that's and like my girl and other people will bring me back like, bro, you've got to let them learn for themselves. You have to let them make those mistakes or they're never going to learn how to do it. Right. So then you're going to always have to be there and be doing these things. That is not how this whole service structure thing works. You're supposed to teach and then let them roll. You know what I mean? And then it gives you a little bit of a break and then you can relax in your home group. But I find it really, really hard, even when all the cards are in place for me to relax, because I don't want a bomber to come in because I feel like I'm faster than everybody else. I feel like I'm the best sniper shooter in the world, which I am. Don't come up in our meetings bombing, bro. I got hit, bro. I am amazing from like 5 miles out. I will shoot you. I will get you. So, it's just another layer to this thing, right? There is a thing where I don't hold up well to my expectations of myself, and I feel like I have a negative body image sometimes, even though I'm lean, mean, and in charge, and I keep in shape. I used to be, just awkward. I'm just this tall, awkward dude. And then when I grew into my body, it changed, but I still find myself trying to overcompensate with like clothing. I'm part of a clothing brand. So I always have like nice clothes and nice shoes. I'm a shoe head. I've got like 50 to 60 pairs of Jordans. I've got like
What?
Jordans. Bro, one day I have a whole Foot Locker. I started counting them the other day. I got over 50. Bro, 50. I'm talking nice ones, nice shoes, bro. Like you have no idea. I could go 2-3 months and not wear the same pair of Jordans. Like once. We'll get into that one day. It's really cool. It's one of my
is that
things.
an addiction?
My girl calls it an addiction. She'll call me and I'll be like lacing shoes, and I lace shoes for hours sometimes, but I don't do drugs. Like I'll relace shoes and I put different shoelaces and I redo like different shoelace designs. I'm a freak. Anyways, it's cool though. I love it. It's my thing,
Yeah.
And so and then another thing that I had here that how like resentments are so for me, resentments healing take too long. And I have a problem with that. I feel like these resentments and being able to get and unleash these boulders that we have in our backpack should be a lot more of an easier process, and it's not. So when I can understand and trust the process in that specific area alone, it helps me out too. So why am I not free in all those areas, right? For some way, it feels like I'm trying to protect myself, really, Milan. I'm just still trying to protect myself from myself, really. But I have to know that I'm going in a certain direction and I'm growing, and this thing is never going to be like perfected. We're not going to perfect this process. If we think we do, that's when we're done. So. Love you, man.
I love that too.
Yeah.
Okay, I got another question.
Yes, you
How
do.
free do you want to be? Enough to forgive, enough to change? What's one area you've been surprised, or you've surprised yourself by choosing growth over ego? What's one area
Wow.
where you've surprised yourself by choosing growth over ego?
So the first thing that popped into my head was the situation at my work. Um, I have grown exponentially, and it took me getting uncomfortable. It took me really backing up, um, and looking at the situation, from an outside looking in, right, and then trying to say to myself, I had to put all my shit away, all my ego, all my pride, all my self hatred towards this person, all of that internal personal shit. I had to put that completely aside. And every time she came at me, I had to look at her the way I knew she wanted me to look at her. I had to answer, yes, ma'am, the way she wanted me to answer her. And bro, it was kind of like, because I prayed so hard about it, it was like God was just putting me in those situations. And then when she would walk up, he'd be like, bro, fucking smile at her. Like when she would walk up and it would hurt, like my balls would be hurting, and then he would be like, smile at her. And then I would smile at her. I like gritting my teeth and smile at her. Yes, ma'am. Even though I already know what she's telling me. And I got to the point where I was so proud of myself being able to do that. That I was almost like a machine. Like I really it like the emotions of pushing over that hurdle of giving her what she wanted every time became second nature to me. And then I started realizing that we're so different that she doesn't even realize that this is a game to me. And does that make sense? Like I really played it so far the other way, and she didn't bat an eye and was like, okay, thank you. Like it's just so different, her and I. Like somebody who, let's say, not from a different country with totally different cultures, could understand that I'm kind of being a smartass sometimes, but I'm giving her answer and I'm smiling. And I'm not being a dick. I'm doing exactly what she wanted, and that's what she needs. She just needs turnkey. She needs the yes ma'am every time. She needs me to just put my head down and go do her little thing and go walk the way she wants me to when she says she wants me to, bro. And I've won that war, man. I'm so proud of myself, bro. I've been so close to telling her to go F herself, in probably 6 to 7 times. I'm talking very close, and I would not have a job. I'd have found another
Yep.
job, but that was my answer.
Woo, I love that. Okay,
Cool.
how free do I want to be? Enough to forgive, enough to
Freedom.
change? What's one area where I've surprised myself by choosing growth over ego? Whew, man, God, there's so many, but I mean, when you think of that, like growth over ego, like first of all, like admitting I was powerless, right? Like step one, for anybody out there, powerlessness isn't a weakness. It's just the truth. It's just the truth, man. When you can set aside all that brain space of like, I'm gonna quit today. I'm gonna quit today. Oh shit, I'm quitting today. Why didn't? Oh shit, now I didn't quit. Now I'm mad at myself. And all this, like, just give it up. Putting that whole conversation somewhere else. Because for me, that was a 17-year battle. Even without knowing about the program, I like I knew that there was lines I was crossing with some of the bigger binges like 17 years ago, and people were getting hurt and people were getting real mad, like real mad, life-changingly mad, and that was not going well. And there I was, like in control, quitting for a few months. Okay, now I behave. That's not going to happen this time. Whoops, like 2 years later, whoa, how's this still happening? Man, so,
I surrender. No, I got this.
well, yeah, but no, I wasn't surrendering nothing. I was
When you
like,
were like,
I thought I was in control. And
yeah,
that, like, I literally had the insanity. And that insanity was me believing, having the mental obsession that I could control it, And
yeah.
so, like, to me, that was just such a liberating thing when I was like, no, I don't got this. And I've lost. Like I've lost forever. And I think for me, that's a massive turning point. Like you can't kind of sometimes be powerless. Like it just don't work like that. Like not if you're an alcoholic or an addict.
No.
You have to come to the point of I've lost this fight. I need to change.
There's nobody
And
holding you accountable.
like
Like you have
like
to do this for yourself.
yeah, but it has to be like not like I swear if I take a couple months off, I'll be better. Like there's no getting better.
No.
Like the reality is I have the phenomenon of craving.
Yeah.
Like once I start, I can't stop. I
More.
will never be a normie. I will never ever be like when I look at something like a six pack, I'm like, what a small, stupid invention.
One is too many, 1,000 is never enough.
That's right. That's right. And 10,000 still ain't enough.
Because look, we're gonna use all those, and then what?
The only
Then
one
what?
that's enough
Then
is
what?
the tombstone. That's the only one thing that's enough
That's
because
it.
that's the one that stops you, man.
That's it, man.
And so yeah, like I got so much freedom from that admission of powerlessness. For me, that was the turning point, and that me entering the game and seeing that something else could happen.
That's the front door to this thing,
Yeah,
man. That's the front door opening, or you're not gonna get into the game if you don't get through the front door, man. You gotta get there. Gotta learn how to float. Let
yeah.
go. You ready for my question?
I'm so ready.
Milan, how has your
Oh,
willingness to be free grown over time?
woo. Like an upside down pyramid. Like my willingness. Okay, like I said right in the beginning, is that this freedom has opened my eyes to more freedom. Like my open mindedness keeps showing me more and more potential things and more different things that I can work on and or surrender or be aware of, like, and move in the direction of, like I had just no clue about so many things. Like, even this two-way prayer, it's like every time I'm ready for the next stage, the universe is just like, here, Milan, here's the person, here's the lessons. Now it's up to you to put in some time, and, when I say put in time, that does not mean me removing the defects or the shortcomings. I am still 100% believer of the surrender, but you have to set yourself up for change, like
Yeah.
you have to learn like things about, like anger for freedom for me, right? It's about one of the things I'm learning about right now is kind of concept replacement. And so it's like I am not focusing on my anger, I'm focusing on growing my love.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
because the more I'm in a state of love, the less I'm in a state of anger. It's
Yeah.
like that which you focus on becomes greater. So it's like putting that focus into building those traits that are the opposite of my defects and shortcomings. And so,
Yeah.
like, I am surrendering those things and I am embracing the positive things.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's just the direction that I'm going in. And it's really feeling great. It's feeling
Yeah.
more peaceful. I'm feeling more serene. Had a couple crappy days this week and had some wonderful days this week. And what's life but a roller coaster, really?
Yeah. And facing them with a smile on your face, man. I love you,
Yeah,
bro. I
yeah.
love you, man. So how has my willingness to be free grown over time? When I came in here, I didn't know what it was to be free. I didn't think I could be unchained. So, um, I was just kind of going with what the family needed me to go with, so I could stay with a roof over my head at the time. Um, and just that survival mode, man. I was going from one survival mode to the next. I didn't know what my body was going through. I had no idea why my body was acting the way it was. And once you get a few days, a few weeks off drugs, and you start, these things start clicking. These neurons in your brain, whatever you want to call it, when they start connecting with each other, and you start realizing that normal things give you joy. These small things in life. That's when things started changing for me. But freedom and what was it? What is it? How's my willingness to be free? My willingness, that willingness. That's where we come to. That's that. You got to be willing. you can say, willingness without action is fantasy. That says that in our basic text.
Faith without works is dead.
Bro, you're playing a fucking video game. If you're not going to be willing to go do this stuff that we're talking about, we're in a 12-step fellowship. You have to be willing to do these steps if you want to get these things that we're talking about. It's very simple. It's very detailed, but it's very simple. It's a simple ass program made for the super ass complicated people that we are, right? So deep down, I know now freedom involves me being willing to change the way that I think all the time. I have to be willing to take on other people's viewpoints. I have to be willing to take suggestions for the sake of me staying alive. Because I had to do that when I got in here. When I first got in here, my willingness was that of just, it was not, my willingness game was on very, very low, but it was enough willingness to keep me clean just for that day, just for that day, just for that day. When I got a few weeks, got a few months, I had to, that willingness had to grow, Milan. I don't know if that was the same for you. That willingness for everything else in my life had to change. I had to, be willing to treat people different. I had to be willing to take people's viewpoints and apply them to my life. And then when I started like in turn sponsoring people, that changed. My willingness changed then because that's a whole nother side of this thing. It's the, what is it? It is the highest form of service in our fellowship. So it's the highest form of relief, right? Service is relief. Service is life. Service is that entry point. So so when I was able to sponsor one or two people, I knew that freedom didn't mean I had to change the way that they thought or the way that they react to certain things. It was just, I'm pointing them to a God of their understanding, and I'm letting them become free their own way, man. And so it's pointing them to these steps. It's pointing them to the rooms. It's pointing them to the fellowship. It's pointing them to service. It's pointing them to how I was willing at the beginning and how those doors opened for me. But when I was able to get really honest, we talk about rigorous honesty. That's where another thing comes into play. If I'm rigorously honest with myself, I can be more willing to take on a lot of shit that I thought I was never able to take on. And it grew because I realized that this program is not about not using drugs. It's about fixing ourselves long term because, bro, like I still have a lot of issues, and life is not any easier. It's only gotten harder. I've only have these things that are coming up in my life where I have to try to move now, and I don't want to. I don't want to move, Milan, but I'm willing, right? I'm willing to move, which is a big change for me. But how free do I want to be? That comes back to that answer, that question for me. How free do I want to be? And what does freedom look like for me? Do I want to have a family? A family with children, and is that freedom for me? And my answer is yes. So what am I scared of? What am I scared of, Milan?
Change.
Change in the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going to happen when I get there. And, I have all these friends of mine that have done that in the past and it has not worked out. And I don't want that to be me. I'm not saying that's going to be me. I'm not even saying that I'm having bad thoughts about it. It's just something that it's worry. I'm
It's a
worried.
fear.
It's a fear. It's a fear, but it's a healthy fear today. It's a fear I get to have, Tom Smith again, leaves in the pool problems, man. I get to have these
You
problems
just
today.
need to pray for the faith in your
Yeah.
relationship with her.
And just know that it's going to work out, And so, yeah, man, thank you for asking that question. Did you ask that question?
I know. I've got one for you, though. And
Okay.
it goes right into it perfectly.
Okay.
The cost of freedom is willingness. The reward is peace. When has choosing willingness over comfort brought you greater serenity?
Wow, choosing willingness over comfort got me greater serenity. So, gosh, man. So I have an open line with my father now. I have a lot more serenity in my life when I was able to let go of all those resentments for him. truly. I love that man. He brought me into this world. The fact that he's an addict does not make him a bad person, because I've learned a lot about myself. I'm not a bad person. I thought I was a really bad person, and I have a really, really large heart, and I have compassion for people. Like, I don't like to see people hurt. I don't like to see people suffering. Um, it's something that really gives me life. And so, this thing was bogging me down for a while, Milan. I didn't have the willingness to face it. It was really just a brick wall for me. When I would think about that in my head, there was so much pain behind it. I wouldn't plow through that wall. And it's just been within the past kind of 6 months I've really been able to plow through that wall completely. Um, and know that, like, I don't want to have any regrets. I don't want to not have some peace for him, and then be talking about what it could have, should have, if something were to happen to him. Which, he's getting older, and he's worked hard, played hard his whole life. So, he's still doing his thing, and but that's okay, man. That's okay. I can smile about it today. I can I can look. He's listened to a couple of our episodes.
Cool.
He I've because he's got his smartphone, and I've sent him a couple of them. And he doesn't really understand all of what it, like, he does, but he doesn't. You know, he just knows that I'm doing good things, and he's proud of me. You know what I mean? My pops is proud of me, and I knew he was proud of me, but I was never in a place to receive that from him. In a way where I could, like, use it as fuel for me to smile and for me to be happy. So, it's a beautiful thing. This program has given me my life back, man, and I have the predecessors who pray me into these rooms, the JJs of the world that pray me into these rooms for that, man. That's why I'm not going anywhere. That's why I'm always going to be here for this program. So I'm always going to be here for you and the people that keep me and give me peace. I'm always going to be here for y'all, man, because it's what keeps me going. I love you, man.
I love you too.
I miss you, man.
Yeah, this is a great time, man. I'm having a wonderful time here today.
Yeah, man. Yeah, me too.
Woo, Freedom 150.
Freedom.
The
Oh, is it my question? Oh, no.
No, I gotta answer this question.
Sorry.
The cost of freedom is willingness. The reward is peace. When has choosing willingness over comfort brought me greater serenity? Man, okay, like, first thing that pops to mind right there, which I'll use it a million times, but is the Great Resurrendering of March 2025. Like, not only did was I kind of like stagnant and feeling a little like plateaued for a couple months there. It was letting that comfort of that go, admission that I had needed a course correction, and then working like crazy, like literally being willing to change course and to work like nuts at finding alternatives to the way that I was doing things. And getting into that praying gratitude in all circumstances, that was a big thing. Learning more about surrender from a bunch of different sources so that I have different examples of how to try to enter into surrender in my daily life. This two-way prayer, really, two-way prayer is nothing but finding the path of surrender for your day. Like, it really is.
Yeah.
It's like starting in the morning and saying, what could be the most surrendering path of the day? Excuse me, universe, can I have a little few tips? And then the universe sends you the tips, and you're like, hey,
You get this little
man.
fish line drop down. Whoop, whoop,
Ooh,
whoop.
got a little note, and I'm like, oh, okay, yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Experience
Thank you, sir.
gratitude and increase frequencies.
Check.
Listen more than choose to try to be heard.
Check.
Oh, yes, understand rather than to be understood.
Great thought. Check.
Why don't I become more loving?
Check.
But like, so I feel that when it's choosing willingness, it's my whole life inside this program. I'm choosing willingness over comfort every single day in order to keep growing, because I am in love with the change, the growth, the experience. Like, never have I been able to say that I'm content with how life is. and I'm content with how life is. I'm pretty freaking spoiled, and I'm very grateful for it. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
like I really I feel like I'm not only walking on like I'm not only like in a pink cloud. I'm walking on it. You know,
Yes. Love you, Brandy.
yeah,
You're my
yeah,
bestie.
yeah. It's crazy. So yeah,
My Canadian
that's
bestie.
you got another question, brother?
We're doing questions today? What? Yes. How, look, this is a good one. How has asking this specific question helped you through tough moments?
Yeah, okay. You know what? In a lot of ways, it actually has. Like oddly enough, there's been moments of struggle in the last couple months when there's always moments of struggle, but it's like seeing how every moment is a turning point, and it's like you really are choosing acceptance and surrender or defects and shortcomings. That's your crossroad. It's either this or that all the time, really. You can wrap it up in a whole bunch of different bows and presents and everything. But the reality is that either you are honoring, respecting the moment and being part of it, or you're trying to control it. And whether you're controlling that through anger, through manipulation, through pity parties, through whatever. Like there's like all just give me a list of defects and I'll show you how that is you not surrendering, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so surrendering doesn't mean not doing any work either. I want to make that really clear, like it takes awareness to see where what you're needing to surrender in itself. You know, like I don't, I don't surrender my food when I'm starving. Like, like I don't surrender using my leg to not fall off a cliff. You know, like,
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Trying
like
to run away from a guy with a gun, you're not going to use your
yeah,
legs.
like there was bear poop on my road today. I am not surrendering my life just to feed a bear.
I'm not
Like
going to stop, drop, and roll
I'm,
next to that
I'm going to
pile.
yell and I'm going to be the one making it home. Like, hey, oh, I got a picture of this bear poop too. It's huge. Like, I'll send it to you.
Damn, bro.
It's
Bears are crazy.
massive.
Do
If
you
you
see him a
zoom in,
lot?
like sometimes, like some years we see him lots. This year I haven't seen him lots, but now, like that wasn't even 100 meters from my house,
Yeah,
dude.
brown bears or black bears?
Black bears.
Are those which ones are the mean ones? Well, I'm sure they're all mean, but
No, like grizzlies kind of are the biggest and most notorious for
you don't
causing
have
shit.
those up there.
I've seen one a few kilometers from here, but black bears are the ones that I see most of all, and there's so many farms here, man. That like, and then the salmon come up the river, and yeah.
You don't hear of them like messing people up ever up there, do you? Does it ever
I
happen? Do you
haven't
ever hear of it?
I haven't so okay, like one of my friend's brothers, he was working out in this camp on the coast on BC. He fought and killed a grizzly bear with a Swiss Army knife, dude. The thing ate half of his torso and leg, and just before he died, he got this out and stabbed it in the neck. And then he had to get on his mountain bike and ride 6 kilometers to get heli lifted to Vancouver. Yeah.
He's
Oh yeah.
alive right now?
He's alive right now. Oh yeah.
When is the movie coming out?
I don't know, but
What?
it is the most like he was like half eaten and like still rode his bike 6 or 7 K back, and like they like radioed for them to
Bro.
bring blood on the helicopter because he had lost so much. Dude, it was eating him for a day and a half or something like that before he got away. Like it just had him pinned and was like eating parts of him.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
And he
no.
finally got that. What, he finally pierced through his neck
So
or something?
no,
Or
like
what?
yeah, like right in one spot under its ear,
He
and
hit the jugular.
I don't know if he killed it or just got away from it, but it left him alone after that.
I don't think I can continue this podcast. I can't talk about it. I'm like stunned, like I can't move. Like I'm thinking about my whole torso being like,
Yeah.
oh God. Milan. That's why I asked you, because I was looking for a bear story, but
Yeah.
wow, I was looking for like a cocaine bear story, but that was wild, man.
Can you
All right.
imagine like just lying there getting
No,
crunched for a day?
no, no. Oh God. Anyways, all right, that's crazy, man. So, am I asking myself this question?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
got nothing to do with bears.
Wow. Wow. How is asking this question, how free do I want to be, help me through these moments? I can't even think right now, man. So, it's kind of become like a spiritual lifeline for me, in some really tough times, in some really dark and challenging moments. It's not really just a phrase that I heard when I heard it for when my sponsor told me that for the first time. It hit me so hard, and I still am unable to answer that question. Like, yes, hell yeah, I want to be free. Um, but there's been some times where I felt like really overwhelmed, and like misunderstood, and I found myself getting into one of those fuck it moments, and the old patterns would start creeping back in. I would feel wanting to isolate or lash out at people, and then specifically in a couple of instances that I can think of. Um, and I wanted to play the victim, and I started asking myself that question. And I remember how powerful it was even when I asked myself that question, and it brought back to me what really mattered. And that question was able to pierce through any of that ego and any of that pride, any of that shit that was ready for battle. I was gearing up, ready for battle, and that phrase kind of slashed through all of it, right? And it unarmed the battlefield, and I felt more at ease. I was able to pray and really understand what I needed to do in that situation. Because it can get real noisy, Milan, in those situations where shit's like going crazy and you got to make a decision. Like your internal can get really loud to the point where you don't want to make any kind of a decision. For me, I know. Um, but I remember when and there's something I'm kind of going through now. I've touched on it with you. I don't really want to hit on it too specifically, but like we have falling outs in this program with people, you know, and some of your closest friends can become people that you might not talk to very much, and maybe they're even on opposite sides of the battlefield, it seems, and that's not the case. It's just that the situation, as it may be, that's where we find ourselves, and I've always come through this going, man, I love that person, and the one that I'm dealing with now, I love these people. There's a few of them. Love them. One of them I still talk to a lot, and I still respect and love them. And I understand that things weren't done personally, and I'm gonna shut the fuck up now. But I asked myself, how free do I want to be? Because here's the thing: when I when I hold myself hostage because of how I think other people are thinking, like I'm a prisoner of somebody else's circumstances. Like I can't, like when I'm trapped in that spot because of another person's thoughts, or if I think that they're thinking some kind of way, so it's going to affect my attitude, or my attitude towards them, or how I approach them. I am still a prisoner, man. I'm still a prisoner. I'm still trapped.
A
And
prisoner of supposition, not even of reality.
that's what I was kind of looking for. I didn't even know I was looking for that until you said it. That's exactly what I'm looking for. It's not even reality. You're
It's
being a
about
prisoner.
maybe.
You're of a maybe that's not doing you any good at the time, and it's wasting the real thing that's going on here, and you're just missing it. So, that was beautiful, man. Did I answer that? I answered that question,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else that I was going to answer with this. That question keeps me from impulses too, man. Like that impulsive decision. How free do I want to be? Allows me to reset um, at that point and kind of reel back and understand where I'm going to go going forward. So it's about not turning on that light switch immediately. You got to have some pause before you turn the light switch on.
You ready for another one?
Of course.
Okay. Freedom doesn't mean getting what we want, it means wanting what we've been given. How has gratitude changed your experience of life on life's terms?
How has gratitude changed my experience of
Experience
life
of
on lifestyle?
life on life's terms.
So gratitude, but I love gratitude. A grateful addict doesn't use. I'm so grateful to be able to live life on life's terms, man. Freedom is a journey, not a destination. I live to be free every single day. Started how I start that is I pray. I stay clean. I don't use substances. As soon as I pick it up, I'm dead. Picking up anything is like taking a loaded gun to my head. I have more than a physical freedom today. I'm grateful for having more than just my body back, man. I have my mind, body, and my soul back. I have a God that I can pray to that answers my prayers today. I have my own personal, and I'm grateful for this, having my own personal definition of freedom. I have my own specific personal definition of how I want to be free and live free every single day. And it's not up to you anymore. I used to live my life based on how everybody else was doing it because I didn't have anything of my own. I had my pockets loaded with drugs and things like that. And I thought, man, I thought I was doing, and I had people fooled, man. I had so many masks. I had so many masks. I had like 60 Jordans now. I had 60 masks when I was in recovery, when I was in addiction. Could just put whatever mask on I needed to get me through that situation. So I'm grateful to have that power of choice today, man, to be able to wake up and breathe air, and be able to understand what the colors look like today, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I have the power to do anything I want today, man. You know what I mean? Because I have that choice, because I didn't use, I have freedom from active addiction, and I have new brothers, I have new sisters, I have new family all over the world, man. You know what I mean? Just because I got clean, just because I was staying of service to myself and other people. So I wouldn't change that shit for the world. I'm so grateful, man. So, so grateful. I could sit here and talk all day about being grateful and why and how that's changed me.
I
Love you.
love that. I love that, man. That's a great answer. Okay, freedom doesn't mean getting what we want, it means wanting what we've been given. How has gratitude changed my experience of life on life's terms? One of the things that really came about yeah, after that great resurrendering was the meeting of that lady Laura, who really, I was mentioned a million times, really does a great job of expressing gratitude for all circumstances. And so, that's something that I brought into my prayer. And, so life on life's terms, like we become grateful for that struggle because of the lesson it will bring. We become grateful for that struggle because it shows us that we can live and survive through tough times. Like we, I think it was on the podcast there on Wednesday. It's like the cup isn't half full or half empty. We're just grateful there's water in the cup and that there's something to catch it. And there's so much that gratitude reframes about life on life's terms. We look at a moment and we make a judgment, good or bad. But if we just embrace all of the moments, especially the harder ones, because they are the vehicle for us to grow, to become more powerful, to become different individuals. Like none of no growth occurs from comfort. Not one bit of it does.
No.
Like zero growth occurs in comfort. So if you value growth, you have to start loving discomfort. Like other there's no alternative. You can't have both. Like you can't have one without the other is what I mean. Like you can't have growth without discomfort. Why? Because uncomfortability feels strange. It can be hard. It can be like exercising new neurons or muscles or things that give you that strength to change. And so having gratitude, and for me, one of the things that came up in my two-way prayer, and I mentioned it the other day, was expressing gratitude, even just internally, more frequently keeps me from having anger towards other people.
Mm.
Like more
Yeah.
frequent gratitude keeps my frame of mind in a more peaceful, grateful state.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
it makes me happier with people. So, you know, um, I think that for me, gratitude has changed my entire experience. Like I, first of all, I think I used to have some semblance of gratitude, but it was never for any discomfort. It was never for any growth. It was never for any uncomfortability. It was never for like the micrometer changes that were like a recognizable difference from where I was. There's so much that I was not grateful for that it makes me feel that my experience of gratitude is just exponentially grown. And also though where I'm directing it at and what I can see it for, right? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think that life on life's terms is really about surrender and gratitude. Like those are
Yeah.
two tools for me that are real big vehicles for my change.
That's dope. I love you, man.
I love
I
you
love
too.
you. I'm checking in on time real quick, man. Are we still
We're
good? I
we're
was gonna
like
say
an hour and 20 minutes in. What do
I
you
got like
got, Tim?
20. I got like because my meeting's starting up here in like 10, 15 minutes. I got like 20 minutes, bro.
Okay.
I just wanted to let you know, we got about 20
Yeah.
minutes. I didn't know.
Okay. Ask me another question, and then we'll just lightning round till you're done.
Hell
Like,
yeah. Just
yeah.
wanted to set that up. So how
Yeah.
do you help others explore their own freedom, Milan?
I think I help others explore their own freedom by sharing the freedoms that I've gained. But like every time I have some kind of growth, epiphany, struggle, and struggle and breakthrough, that's all I can talk about for the next while. Like, and I do it all the time on this podcast. I do it all the time just when we're talking. Like that's who I am. Is that if you're asking me how it's going, you're probably going to get the Milan's journey of the last couple weeks, and like it's true. And
Yeah.
but on a broader sense, I go to meetings. I hold space for other people to share their freedoms. I,
Mm-hmm.
I, I, w- I work with my sponsees, and by helping them, like sharing my experience of the steps with them and going through step work with them, there's no greater vehicle for freedom, you know, than somebody's first couple times through the steps.
Mm-hmm.
Like first time for sure, but like first couple, really. I feel like the first one you peel some onion, and the second one, man, you could see you get some of the things that like you're like, why am I still feeling this way? Well, it's right here. Now that it's revealed.
You smell that?
So, it's through conversation, it's through sharing, it's through discussions, and it's through listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's big. Ooh, I thought you just dropped, bro. If
Boom,
you were
boom,
about to
boom,
drop the mic, I was
boom, boom,
getting ready
boom.
to
Yep.
steam. Ooh. All right, cool.
Yep.
So, how do I help other people explore? How do I help others explore their own freedom? Um, we've said this before that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. But then we've added this, like you can make him real thirsty. It's about how I live. It's how I can inspire others to find their freedom. So it's just setting that example. It's not about telling somebody what to do or telling somebody how I did it. It's just really showing them how I did it and how I live today and how I live free and I continuously live free. Um, I live for that, man. I live for helping people find their own freedoms. Freedom from active addiction. We have a promise. Any addict can stop using drugs, lose the desire to use, and find a new way to live. And that's freedom, man. That's freedom. A lot of us come in here and don't think we can even do the first part of that. And then when we smash through the first part and we smash through the second part and we start living different and we start getting our families back and we start living this new way of life, we start getting our new people around us, getting that new tribe, if you will. We start walking around a little different, start handling ourselves a little bit different. We can be transparent. We're no longer running from these character defects. We're engaging them. We're becoming better men and women. There's some magical people in these rooms, man. Some really, really magical people in these rooms. So what I do is I share my struggles honestly. I come in on this podcast and I try to turn my mess into a message and try to make people laugh a little bit, you know, maybe chuckle a little bit and find some love and some peace and some serenity in this process. You know, if you can kind of hear us having a conversation with each other and get out of your own head and stop thinking about using for just for 5 minutes, then damn, bro, like this whole thing is worth it. You know what I mean? If anyone is listening to this and we've helped you in any way, bro, like that has it's just a beautiful thing. And the thing is like we're out here doing this. We got 5,000 downloads. If we had 0 downloads, we'd still be out here doing it, being just as proud. But like the fact that it is getting some traction really just fills my heart, man. It fills my heart. And it makes me emotional when I think about it, because like, who are we, Milan? You know, when we came in here, like like we're bringing in people to share their stories, and we're getting a little vulnerable, man, and we're getting honest and uncomfortable, and it's so beautiful. It's so healing. This whole process is so beautiful. But I just want to thank you, man. I want to thank you for being who you are in my life. Again, we've said this a lot to each other, and we do talk about how much we appreciate each other. But bro, I want you to really understand that you bring a level of peace to my life. And again, I've never physically met you, man. I've never been able to give you a physical hug. That will come one day. But like, if you don't think you can get close with people through this platform and in these online meetings and stuff, we weren't like him and I weren't in a chat that we were into similar things or whatever. We met each other in these rooms, and we got each other's number, and we hit it like that. And bro, I'm
Yeah.
gonna know this man until I die, man. I'm gonna know this man till the day we die. And I love you, man. And I just I really, really do appreciate what you bring to my life. And thank you for being a friend, for a good friend, and one of my brothers, man. You're my brothers, and you're my besties, man. My Canadian bestie. I
Me
love you.
too. I love you, dude.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, man.
So I'm going to throw it on to the lightning
Let's
round.
do
I'm setting
it.
up 78 minutes on the timer.
It's been a
And
long day, bro. It's been a long day.
that's right. That's right. Okay. Are you ready? Or is
Yes,
it?
sir.
Yes. Okay. The freedom we feared is now freedom we cherish. What used to feel threatening in recovery that now feels like a gift?
Um, Receiving love from other people, you know, honestly receiving that love, because I've been able to find love for myself. Self-love is what it all starts off with. When I was able to tap into my own self-love and know, like, man, my father loved me growing up. It wasn't just me against the world. And I have to understand that I cut those ties off when I was using, and I really went south on that I can embrace love, man, and I can embrace when other people love me, and I can love them back, and I can teach people how to love, and I can know that that's an ongoing process, and love does not lose. And so I stay in love, man. I don't even need to talk anymore about that. Love is undefeated. It's the most powerful drug in the world, the most powerful word in the world. Can't tell me otherwise. Love you.
I love you. So what used to feel threatening in recovery and now feels like a gift? Surrender. Surrendering my defects. It used to feel threatening, like I was losing control of how I was going to change. And now it feels just like such a easy thing when it happens. Like it feels so relaxing. You know, when I say that feeling of like pretend you're holding that rope and then you let go.
Like,
And you know, it used to feel threatening. Like, why can't I? Why can't I get rid of this? What's going on? Why does this? Why am I still so defective in this way? And now I know it's just like it's not time for that to be fully gone yet. And
yeah,
as long as I keep moving with my compass in that direction, I can feel the freedom growing every single day.
yeah, man. Yeah, I love that. I love that. All right, second question. What is the
Yeah.
biggest freedom you've experienced in your recovery, Milan?
Whew. Well, oh gosh, I'm going to have to say that it is that surrender of the addiction. That was occupying 35 to 75% of my brain and
Yeah.
that being gone, like that, it might be like the greatest removal of a mental trap ever. You know, like who do you need that motherfucker with a surrender?
That's awesome. So, what is the biggest freedom I've experienced in recovery? For me, it's self-forgiveness. I hated who I was, man. I hated who I was, and then I layered that up, man. I hated that person, and then I stepped outside of that person, and then I hated on that person, and so um, I really have that the self-forgiveness has been one of those things that's been the biggest freedom for me. I'm no longer trapped in this disease. I literally couldn't do any thinking for myself. You know what I mean? Everything was done on impulse. Everything was done on transaction. Um, it's like this, man. Imagine being bit by a poisonous snake and running around trying to figure out why that bitch bit you instead of trying to go get your hand fixed. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. You don't run around and go try to find that poisonous snake. Be like, bro, why'd you bite me? Why'd you bite me? Why'd you bite me? You go to the doctor and get it fixed, man. You go get the shit fixed. You figure it out. That's what we would do in active addiction. We're
I
nuts.
forgot to
So
put on the timer, by the way.
that's okay. I got an internal timer.
There we go. I got an internal timer. He not only can bomb Earth, he gets like times in his head.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right. Okay, when we serve others, we experience freedom from self. How has long-term service expanded your sense of purpose?
Oh wow. Well, we know this whole program is about service. How serviceable can we be to somebody else in our lives and to other people in our lives? In turn, gives us that fruitfulness and gives us that buoyancy that we need, that I need. I'll keep it on me. Being able to be of service not only helps somebody improve their lives, it monumentally changes your life because um, being able to do something for somebody else um, really gives you those feelings of I'm doing the right thing, I'm here for the right reasons, I'm in the right place, I'm surrounded with the right people. I need to continue doing this because of, again, if we want to stay free from active addiction, man, we've got to continue these good things, man, because we can fall back in that rut quick and it can get real easy to think that using drugs would be an easier way out, and that's not the case, man. Because look, an addict not using is in an abnormal state. My books tell me that shit too. So when we're not using drugs, we're abnormal. Get normalized in that in those uncomfortable feelings, and then ride this wave, man. Come fly on, man. We love you. We need you. You ready for a question?
I um I think I got to answer that same question.
That's you do. I'm sorry.
Yes, when we serve others, we experience freedom from self. How has long-term service expanded my sense of purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Man, like it feels on a day-to-day basis because I've been doing some real contact with, especially one sponsee. Shout out to, I'm not going to break his anonymity, but he knows who he is because we
Love
talk
him.
every single morning. Um, and
Has he been on this podcast before?
yes, but
I
that
know
kind
him.
of,
I know. Yeah, I love him.
but you know, the thing is, man, feeling like I am a part of somebody's growth and helping to be part of the vehicle for that, it does give me a greater sense of purpose. Like it really does, you know, like in the same way that, you know, I have gratitude for my sponsor for taking his time with me, you know, I absolutely, I have gratitude for my sponsees for taking time with me, you know, like it
Yeah.
definitely gives me a sense of purpose because I see it helping them and helping save their lives. I forgot the
Yeah.
timer for me too there, but I think
That's
that's
okay.
good.
It was
Yep.
funny. I was in a meeting the other morning. And there was a young man talking about how he gets and he talks with his sponsor every single morning. There's this list of 100+ spiritual principles, and we discuss one spiritual principle every single morning. And he was talking about it. And I was like, I think I know who his sponsor is.
Yeah.
Love that guy. I think I
Yeah.
know. I think I know where that list came from.
Yeah, you
I
do.
love that. Hell yeah, man. It was cool, man. It was just the other morning too. So shout out. You working the
Yeah.
program.
It's
Where
good.
we at? What are you gonna do?
You got another question or you
Yeah.
done?
How do you? I was gonna say I'll ask one question, then we can
Yeah.
end it.
Yeah.
How do you stay spiritually free on a daily basis, Milan? Tell the people.
I get up. I give some gratitude. I do my readings. I do a two-way prayer. I exercise myself a lot. I pray while I'm outside in the universe, watching the most beautiful sunrises, and I continue my day into meetings and live in this program. Like I'm not a part-time program guy. I
You know,
I I do hours and hours every day in some direction towards recovery.
you
And
got
you
you
know,
got the
like
FIFA.
when it says half measures availed us nothing, I believe that to be true. And so for me, I want as much freedom as the universe is ready to give me. And the only way I get that is by preparing myself the best I can.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. How do I stay spiritually free on a daily basis? Prayer, breathing techniques slash meditation, my little baby meditation techniques that I have now, gratitude and service. I practice gratitude and service will keep me in line with all those things. If I'm of service, I'm being of service to this fellowship. I'm not being of service to my negative thinking. And so when I fall short, I make it right. That's how I stay free. It's how I stay spiritually connected. So that question again, how free do you want to be, guys and gals? If you're listening, how free do you want to be? Freedom is offered to all of us, but we all have to go out there and claim it. It's not going to come arrive. It's not going to come knocking at your doorstep. You got to go out there and get that shit, man. You got to go out there and grab it. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Serenity comes when we trade expectations for acceptance, bro. Get serene in this game. Love you, bro. I love
I
you,
love
man.
you too, man. And how free do I want to be? Free, en-
Freedom.
free enough to stay alive, first of
I
all.
love you, man. I
And
love you.
I'm free enough to enrich the lives of others. Yeah?
You do, man. You enrich my life, man.
You too, me, man.
And
And
thank you for being you.
whoa, tune in next episode for more recovery fun.
Love you
I love you guys. Welcome. Come on.
Yeah.
Please help us help others. If you'd like what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan South Okanagan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.